interest, which is the real argument of any type of loan. That interest would just wreck you, man. Have you paying on the interest versus the principal for the rest of your life. It's a lifelong debt. Getting educated. It's a debt nowadays, man. So if anybody want to come up and speak on that, as far as what the situation goes, and I don't even think, as far as did he even sign anything right now, Biden? I got to go really look on that. It's been a long day for me, so I'm actually just getting to my own personal news. So I'm going to look into that while we over there speaking. Go ahead.
Read it up real quick, cuz. Just a little bit. I go in depth in this, where it says big student loan forgiveness plan announced by Biden. Also, I want to say what's up to Dr. Deborah. How you doing, Dr. Deborah? It says President Joe Biden on Wednesday announced detailed plans to deliver on a campaign promise to provide $10,000 in student debt cancellation for millions of Americans and up to $10,000 more for those with the greatest financial need, along with measures to lower the burden of repayment for the remaining federal student debt. Borrowers who earn less than $125,000 a year or families earning less than $250K would be eligible for the $10,000 forgiveness. Biden announced for those who also receive Pell Grants, which are reserved for undergraduates with the most significant financial need, the federal government would cancel up to an additional $10,000 in federal loan debt. So he's talking about canceling $20,000. Like if on top of the loan forgiveness, and he's talking about if you have Pell Grants, anything like that, tacking in another $10,000. So anybody who earns less than $125,000 a year, or families that's earning $250K, which most families here do not earn $250,000 in America. So that would be quite a bit of people. Both of these targeted actions are for families who need it most. Working and middle-class people hit especially hard during the pandemic, Biden said in remarks at the White House Wednesday afternoon. Biden is also extending a pause on all federal student loan payments for what he called the final time through the end of 2022. If his plan survives legal challenges. So if his plan survives legal challenges that are almost certain to come, it could offer a windfall to many in the run-up to this fall's midterm elections. More than 43 million people have federal student debt, with an average balance of $37,667, according to federal data. Nearly a third of borrowers owe less than $10,000, and about half owe less than $20,000. The White House estimates that Biden's announcement would erase the federal student debt of about 20 million people. So this is going to impact at least 20 million people, a significant amount of people, a lot of people. Of course, out of this 20 million people, they're saying that, black people are probably going to feel it the most. That's 20 million people who can start getting on with their lives, Biden said. All of this means that people can start to finally crawl out under that mountain of debt to get on top of their rent and utility. The fun thing about buying a home and starting a family business, proponents say cancellation would narrow the racial wealth gap. I knew that would come into play. So they talk about that. This would also help with the racial wealth gap. Black students are more likely to borrow federal student loans and at a higher amount than others. 4 years after earning a bachelor's degree, black borrowers owe an average of nearly $25,000 more than their white peers, according to Brookings Institution study. So at this point in time, they're saying that black borrowers, of course, we already know that, and I would guess that a number of those would have to be also, black women, because black women seem to carry the largest amount of student loan debt than any other group. So even though they're definitely one of the most educated groups in the country, black women are carrying around a lot of financial debt. Ray, I see you got something to say. Professor, is there anything that you would like to add as a speaker right now, or are you cool or what?
Newstoter, thank you again for hosting a wonderful space, man. You always do such a great job with these spaces. Now, we're not going to speak on last night, because last night was just it was just a different type of deal.
Yeah, it was something last night.
And if you noticed last night, man, I didn't even try to get in, man. I just listened last night. So, but tonight, man, this is what we need to be talking about, because Joe Biden, once again, he came yesterday like this is really going to help black families, and of course he mentioned brown families, but black and brown, as they always do. They try to link us all together, and I can't stand it. But let me say this. Joe Biden has the authority through the Higher Education Act of 1965 passed through Congress to cancel all debt, student loan debt, y'all. So he has the authority to cancel all of it. This 10,000 is not going to do anything for anybody, for the most part. Now, it might help a few. But a lot of people have collected long-term debt because college is very expensive, man. When you take into account tuition, housing, the books, all of the stuff that's combined over the years that you in that college or university, that stuff adds up, man. And college is nothing but a business. That's why it's so expensive. It's a business. Joe Biden had the authority to eliminate all of that debt yesterday. Now, he hasn't officially signed anything, I don't think, y'all, because there's probably going to be some legal challenges, as Newstoter said in the article there. So we got to check into that first. And by the way, y'all, I've been heavy into this because I've been working on behalf of the Student Debt Center, which is on Twitter, by the way, if you want to follow them. I've been writing letters and stuff like that to Joe Biden and this Secretary of Education that he had by the name of Miguel Cardona, I think is his name, the 12th Secretary of Education for the United States. I've been writing emails, letters to them, giving them reasons why they should have eliminated all of that, and we still working on campaigning for them to eliminate all of it, by the way. So I'm still out here emailing and writing these letters. As y'all know, I be all up on here trying to keep up with stuff and also trying to keep up with reparations. So I'm working on a whole lot of stuff. But I just want to say that he has the authority to eliminate all debt.
Because I was trying to find a rational explanation for what he was doing. At the end of the Trump administration, he and somebody playing audio put in work material material. So
I was about to say, where did that come from?
Yeah. DJ,
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem, Dr. Deborah. No problem. I see. Go ahead.
My mic was muted, so on me.
Yeah, I land my plane there, everybody. But that was what I had to say right there. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Queen B, I know you got your hand up, and then Dr. Deborah, you're next. So go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So listen, one of the things that I found out about this is that really, well, first of all, we all know $10,000 is really nothing unless you're maybe like at about 20, 30,000 or whatever, maybe. But for most people, it's a drop in the bucket. And the other thing that they're not talking about is that this is taxable income depending on what state you live in. Because certain states, don't have, like I'd say, their tax laws, to come from the federal government, and they could tax you on this. So those are some other things that need to be considered. So I would, advise everybody to look at, what's going on with their state laws and see if this is something that they would be taxed on. I know, like Florida and Texas don't have state laws, so you'd be okay in those states. But there's a lot of states where this would be considered taxable income. So of course, these are the devil's in the details, and those are some we're not going to talk about because, and I don't see how this is helping Black and brown people. If it puts you in a predicament where you're going to end up having to owe some taxes, paying some money back to the government. So, I just don't believe, really that this is going to happen. And the reason for my skepticism is I think there has been a lot of backlash coming from not just the Republicans, but also from the Democrats. And I think, this is something where he would be okay if this went to the courts, because they're talking about potential lawsuits. And then, if it gets kicked up to the court, maybe even the Supreme Court, and it gets thrown out, then he could just come back and say, well, you know what, at least I tried. And by then it would be past the election. So I just that's just me, you know. So I think there's a big trick bag going on, and I'll land.
Yes, ma'am. And the Democrats actually wanted him to go further, especially with it being, the midterms and stuff coming up as well. Because I didn't finish reading that entire article, but I believe that Warren and Bernie Sanders running that they were talking about as much as getting rid of $50,000 worth of student debt. And Biden, he decided to keep it around the 10,000 figure. But either way, you got Republicans that's just going crazy, going berserk right now, like talking about how unfair that is. And I think I heard one of them saying, I forgot who it was saying that this was that education is not an entitlement, it's an investment. So you're not entitled to like higher education. It's an investment, and in an investment, you have to invest by what? Spending money. So I'll let Dr. Deborah go ahead and get it. Dr. Deborah, go ahead and unmute your mic, and it's nice to have you in the space tonight.
Thank you, Newstoter. I was in the space last night too, but that's all I'll say.
I saw you in there. I saw it. Thank you last night for your contribution on Cash App too. So.
No problem. Hey, DJ. And hey, Queen B, and everybody else in the room. I just, and you made some really great points, Queen B, but let me say this. The devil really is in the detail. Because if this was something that was, in my opinion, because I honestly don't know what he's thinking, but from what we've seen, the fact that those of us hope to be eligible have to actually apply. Now, listen, the IRS has everything. They know who filed single. They know who filed married jointly. Your taxes, if you file jointly, you have your spouse's salary. You have your. This is a very basic Excel spreadsheet sort. They can do this and know exactly who would be entitled to this debt relief. But they're going to make those people who apply actually. They're going to have to actually go through the process of applying. And then I know educators who've tried to get their existing loans dismissed with the service on the service side. And it's just a process, and they wait and they wait. So I don't think it's ever going to really happen either. I think that they don't have enough personnel to run all the applications that they say would be necessary to ensure that these monies are distributed or these debts are reduced. So I think we need to really, really not fall into a state where we're giving praise to this president or those around him. I saw Elizabeth Warren last night on with Alex Wagner. And yes, she came out the box in 2019 talking about debt relief. I mean, in my mind, I was supporting her because she was like the only candidate in all of those who were running for the Democratic nomination. Joaquin Castro, actually, but she was the only one talking about repair for Black people. I mean, and she started there talking about the closing the wealth gap. But then last night, it's as if she just threw all of that out the window. So basically, we have to realize that they're all really the same. They're all really the same, and it gets people's hopes built up, and it's going to be a confusing process to try to get this debt relief. And I feel badly for people, but I still say apply anyway. Let them say no to you, but it doesn't have to be that. It's not that complex to say. If you know how many people will benefit from this, you also know how to make it easier, simpler for people to get this debt relief. They don't want to make it simple. They don't really want to do it. And so I'm jaded, but that is truly how I believe and feel about this. And I am happy you are holding this space because it's given us an opportunity to think more critically about what has transpired. And it really is a nod to November 8th. I think we can't ever lose sight of that. To his credit, I will say I was surprised to hear Derek Johnson come out and have some choice words about it, not co-signing it straight out. And that was good for those people who support strongly the NAACP. And I'll land there.
Thank you, sister. They're talking about this is going to somewhere, I think the total is going to be like $300 billion So, like I said, you're definitely already getting, whether it passed or not, because you're gonna have a lot of Republican opposition. They're trying to call this another form of welfare as well, too. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. And here's my thing too: that now that we're getting to the midterms and stuff like that, now we're talking about doing this. As we're getting closer to the midterm, so it definitely is a political maneuver. Give Joe Biden credit for that. I know he said this was one of his political campaign promises. $10,000 is just a drop in the bucket, and for those that do get the $20,000 or whatever, that if you can get it, definitely get it. I'm not saying not to get it. I'm not saying not to take advantage of it, but 300 and some, 330, 340 million people in the country, because somebody just left a comment and said, well, what about the people that didn't go to college? Well, or the people that don't have debts or student loans? Well, I guess it doesn't really apply. I mean, it's just specifically for those people that do have huge debts and student loan debts. And I'm not saying, like I say, and definitely if you can get it, go ahead and get it, take advantage of it, whatever. But it is just a drop in the bucket. You have tuition costs, I think, from 1980. They were showing like in 1980, the cost, I think, for a year of tuition was something like $10,000 or something. Now we're at $20. So that just lets you know, what are you going to do about the growing cost of tuition and stuff as well in this country, because that's skyrocketing. In another 20, 30 years, how much is the cost of tuition for a year going to be? For $50-some thousand? So we have to kind of look at these kind of things as well too. But definitely, Dr. Deborah, thank you for that great analysis. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace to everyone in the room. So I read something kind of interesting, and I want to make sure I'm not tripping. So I wanted to ask the family on this, right? So on web.archive.org, basically the Internet Wayback Machine, it kind of copies everything, just for safe record keeping. It says that forgive all undergraduate tuition-related federal student debt from 2 and 4 year public colleges and universities and private HBCUs and MSIs for debt holders earning up to $125,000. That maybe it's just me, but it sounds like that's something different from what he, is promoting now. But like I said, I wanted to hear if the family thinks I'm tripping, because that sounds a little off to me. And I wanted to hear everyone else's opinion on how they think this is going to affect the military, because obviously, as one of the perks of being in the military is you get to go and we have this thing called FAFSA. You get to go and apply for that and basically go to college for free and kind of get paid to help pay your books and things. So if they're offering college for free, then what is the they call it the dangling carrot for people to join the military now?
Well, I don't think it's going to really affect the military at all. I think that's one of the I think that is one of the perks of joining the military, when you start thinking about the VA loans and some of the benefits that they offer through the military. That's one way of actually attracting new recruits in there. So I don't really think it's. I mean, they always tell people that join the military, hey, you can go the military pay for college for you. So I don't really think that's going to really affect people in the military all that much. Now, the first part that you said about the forgiveness and stuff like that, I never really heard of that, so I can't really say offhand. I don't, Dr. Deborah, would you know anything possibly about that? I don't know anything about that particular Ray. Myself, it basically was forgiveness as well.
Are you you're talking about the military impact? Was that what you were talking about, Ray? Is that what you asked me to weigh in on?
No, the other part from the web archive. Because I want to see, because it sounds like two different things. Like I said, it said forgive all undergraduate student. Forgive all undergraduate. Oh, I can't talk today. Tuition related federal student debt from 2 and 4 year colleges and universities and private HBCUs and MSIs for debt holders earning up to $125,000. That sounds like something obviously different from what he was, campaigning on. That sounds like something completely different.
Yeah.
I don't want people, to kind of fall for the trick bag of, he's keeping his promise, because that sounds like something different.
Wow.
And told her, I'm going to take this to you too.
Okay, no problem. Like I said, I've never heard that. Dr. Deborah, Queen B, if you guys, Professor, if you heard that before, because I never really thought about the 2 year colleges and actually people getting the loans and stuff like that. So I really never thought about the junior colleges in terms of that as well. So if you guys know anything about that, I really don't know.
I'm gonna check it out real quick. Ray, can you put that in the Jumbotron? And
I'll definitely send it to you in a private message. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how to post things in Jumbotron.
Okay, no problem.
I never heard that myself.
Send it to
DJ,
Ray.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I was about to say, Ray, I never heard that neither, man. But because that sounds totally different than what he originally had put out when he first started campaigning.
Yes, that's why that's why I'm glad that web archive exists, because you know how politicians lie. Especially about like when Trump, they had that whole finesse they ran about when Joe Biden gets into office. Oh, I'm gonna give $2,000 checks out, and then when he actually got elected, well, you got $600 from Trump, so we just gonna see the remainder. And then I'm arguing with folks like, well, this motherfucker promised us, we were gonna get 2,000.
Yep.
You know how they look at it with the abortion thing too, but that's a whole other topic I'm not gonna get into.
Well,
yes, I will say. I was
just gonna say, Ray, let's be honest too. He hasn't signed this executive order yet neither. Now I know him and Miguel Cardona were up there talking about it yesterday, but nothing has been signed yet. So this hasn't even become what you would call official yet. Because I even talked to one of the loan servicers yesterday, who said that as of right now, this is just a what you would call a tentative plan. They have put in place, cancel $20,000 in debt by the end of the year, by December, the end of the year, December. And the guy said, well, we don't even know if we'll be able to discharge all those loans by December, because it's going to be so many that we'll have to work on. Yeah, that's true. So this stuff is just a tentative plan right now, y'all. This man ain't even signed the executive order yet. So what I was telling y'all earlier about what I've been doing is we still been working on plans to send to this man, him and Miguel Cardona, to go ahead and eliminate all the debt before he even signs anything, okay? Because there's no point in keeping all this debt out there. If you're going to do that $10,000 or $20,000, just go ahead and cancel all of it. Just eliminate the whole damn thing. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all.
And real quick, before you go on, Newstoter, don't forget, we're still waiting as Black Americans for him to have this sit down to discuss the contract with Black America that he promised was going to happen if we just wait till he was reelected.
Oh yeah, we're still waiting on that as well too. So, like I said, he's just not getting to this campaign promise here. So I guess he says that give him next year presidential election, and he can sit down with Black America and discuss that contract as well. So we'll see, man. Like I say, I know Ice Cube. I thought Ice Cube was supposed to be reaching back out to him. I could be wrong, but it would be nice to see if he actually got to sit down with Biden this time. Now that he is the actual president, so it'd be interesting to actually see that as well. DJ, I know you got your hand up. Of course, you're the co-host, so.
Yeah, still got to raise my hand and show respect to all peoples, though. Know what I mean? But check the Jumbotron right there, Ray. And yeah, that's definitely accurate. And like I say, I told Faster, I'm never paying my loans back. But then I'm going to pay you back for when there ain't no jobs in my field. I can't walk in Atlanta Records and say, yo, can I get a job application to be a producer? They be like, yo, security, get this nigga up out of here.
DJ, you don't pay like just a minimum amount, maybe like $20, $30 a month for nothing?
No, I'm not paying them nothing. No interest, no nothing. I haven't paid them. Most likely that shit is in cancellation debt or, what do you call it?
Default.
Default, there you go. You know what I mean? And most likely it is. But I don't hear anything from these people because they know what it is. But I also wanted to reiterate what Queen B said. They also did that over the COVID. About, I think it was like 10,000 of it was taxable income, so I had to pay taxes on that shit. But go ahead, though.
Queen B, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, I wanted to just circle back to what Dr. Deborah said. She mentioned something about having some friends that were educators, and they had, I guess, tried for the public service loan forgiveness. And I want to say, because I've been in public service for the last 8 years, and I kept trying, I kept applying because they kept, sending me these messages telling me to apply for the student loan forgiveness. And every time I would, it would never work out for me because they were always asking me for, they were asking me to make payments that were just impossible to make. And so I never qualified for it. So I kept thinking, well, I can't do this. I just got to pay them for the rest of my life. And so this time around, though, when Biden, I think it was last year when he made the decision, yeah, we know there's problems with the PSLF, so go ahead and apply and we'll give you credits. So I was able to get all those credits back. So now I'm only like 16 months away. So that did work out for me. And I would encourage anybody that if they had denied you that before and you do work in public service, that to go ahead and apply for that. Because then I would just be like, oh gosh, this is just never going to end for me. But, they have a lot of problems where they need to go back and they need to reform a lot of things, with those student loans. And there's a lot of people now that have been able to get their loans, get credit towards those loans because they do work in public service. So that is an option. That is an option. And I'll land.
Hey, FBA Tech, I know you up. If you want to speak, just go ahead and raise your hand or whatever, so we can definitely go ahead and get you in.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Newstoter, man. I really appreciate your space, man.
No problem.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let y'all know I'm a veteran. You know what I'm saying? I paid for school myself. I used my VA loan. It's called the Post 9/11. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how I made it through school. You know what I'm saying? If Joe Biden really wants to, he could just send me the 10K himself. You know what I'm saying? This is really a spit in the face. And I really believe, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I feel like it's an opportunity for this to be like almost like a litmus test for our politicians and whatnot. If they go around celebrating this BS, you know what I'm saying? We look at the CBC celebrating this crap. We look at most of these politicians that all want to get at us on Juneteenth and all want to get at us on MLK's birthday and want to hold these little dinners and luncheons and shit. But they're celebrating this crap too when they know what we want. That's the real thing. They know what we want. They know that they want us. They want us to cut that. We want them to cut that. You know what I'm saying? They know this, and they're flicking crumbs off the table. They're trying their best to really, they're giving things to everyone. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys really wanna get a kick, I suggest you should go to Expedia.com and look up how much it costs to rent a room in a New York hotel. Some of these hotels that these immigrants are getting bused to and staying at. I suggest you go on Expedia and look up a couple prices on how much it costs to stay in New York right now. You know what I'm saying? Just for shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? This is real, man. And then now we find videos of all these videos of what was that? Some white supremacist group, training with shields and all this other stuff. This is crazy, man. We're looking at times closing in, and like I've said it before. I'm a big believer in the checkmate. I'm a big believer in the end game. I'm a big believer in you know what I'm saying, people wanting things to end on their watch. You know what I'm saying? Like Biden, who's getting old, who's coming to the end of his term. And, he's definitely going to try to checkmate us some way, somehow, even if he's flicking BS off the table, we need to be ready for this. So I'm going to land my plane right there. And like I said, thank you for the space, Newstoter.
Oh, no problem, FBA Tech. And if you got another question, or you want to jump back in the conversation, by all means, go ahead and jump back up in it. Ray, I know you got your hand up, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, appreciate you, brother. I just had a quick question. So, for the people that did pay out the loans, do you think that they should receive some kind of, tax break or something?
Oh yeah, I think they should, but I mean, if you paid off all that money, I think you should receive some kind of tax break. Now, will you? I'm not really a tax person or whatever, but I mean, that's a lot. Depending, man, that's a lot of money. They have to pay back. You got some people, depending on where you went to school at and how long you went. You got some people that owe $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 worth of debt. So absolutely, I think you should get some kind of tax break. Myself personally, like I say, will you? That other thing, if we had any tax experts up in the room, that would definitely be a good question to ask them about, because I'm not entirely sure about that. Go ahead, Ray. So you raised your hand back up. You had another question?
No, just a shout out, man. I wanted to send a shout out to my sister, Queen Kai. Me and her both grew up in Georgia together, graduated basically at the same time. I wanted to say I see you in here, homie.
Oh, okay. No doubt, no doubt. DJ, I see you got your hand back up, so you go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. So, like I said, I've tried to actually work out my issues with FAFSA, Fannie Mae, whoever got the file on debt, for that matter. And I don't even know, to be honest with you. But I'm planning on looking back into it because there's certain things that I need to do that's surrounding my credit that I just need to get that shit off of it. And that's, I feel like, the main things really, without question, like hurting me to get a real business loan. You see what I'm saying? So unfortunately, I'm going to have to really correct that situation, but they don't help. That's what the problem is. They just want you to pay the interest and the principal. You see what I'm saying? And it's a never ending cycle of you just going to always be paying that. So, the brother FBA Tech, appreciate your service and all that too, brother. Yeah, that post 9/11 bill, that shit. I wish I could get a post 9/11 bill. But I didn't serve. I was just a regular citizen, just wanted to go to school and educate myself. But I graduated exactly about a year before the recession hit. So I never had a chance to go into my field to study. So, and my school closed on top of that. It was an accredited school, been around since the early 70s as far as it being a music school. They closed in, like, I think 2015, 2016. So am I even still on the hook for that debt? Yeah, according to them. But why should I have to pay that when the school is closed? I can't go there and look for any type of opportunities for work, which I used to get that sometimes. I go into the counseling office. They had the jobs board posted up there, and then they shifted it obviously to Facebook, which made it a little bit easier. But that's been a dropped up well for like the last 6-7 years for me. So it ain't no help as far as in this business of music or entertainment, what it is I've been doing my whole life. I even thought about going to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, like, yo, since I already owe y'all, instead of going through the SBA, won't y'all just give me the money I need to fund my business? I'm already there. I just need a little bit of help. But I don't think that they will even do anything like that, because they'll be so quick to say, well, we're not the SBA and we're not that type of low agency, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, listen to my calls, though. Listen to the issue. Listen to the problem at hand and how I can help fix my issue and help fix a whole lot of other students' issues by just off an idea I've been working on for 30 years. But, trying to get people or trying to reach out to the whatever type of person, they don't want to hear that shit because they don't care. People don't care, man. That's the way I be looking at this shit. Go ahead, though.
Okay, I believe we got Sam. Sam, what's going on, man?
What up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Sam, what up?
Respect to DJ, respect to Newstoter, everybody in the space, online, Queen B, Ray. I personally think that, it's not going to affect that. This was everybody know I don't really I do not fuck with Joe Biden, but I don't think that this decision is going to necessarily impact him, because you got to remember, only like about 24% of America even earns over 100K a year. You know what I'm saying? So like that's you do the math. That's 76% of Americans earning less than, especially 125K. Because they don't even earn 100K. So essentially, I don't know why so many people are complaining about legislation that would potentially help them out. You know what I mean? It will erase some of their debt. As far the thing that kind of bothers me, and I brought it up yesterday, is the fact that you got some of these racists, you know what I mean, that essentially got fraudulent PPP loans, you know what I mean, shit that they're not even qualified for. You got Congress people making like millions of dollars get PPP loans with no employees, you know what I mean, and then they're trying to complain about it on the basis of fairness, you know what I'm saying, because these are the same people that complain about, people that are quote unquote woke, you know what I mean, talking about reparations, talking about bigotry and all this shit that we face every single day. And then so it's clear that they don't care about fairness. You know what I mean? One thing I do not like is hypocrites. And when people show their hypocritical way, it really just angers me, because it's like, if you're gonna complain about fairness and all that shit, then you need to talk about fairness in totality, meaning that you need to talk about fairness when it comes to reparations. You should be supporting reparations. You should be supporting, you know what I mean, anything against police brutality and all that shit. If you're not, you're a straight hypocrite. You know what I mean? You're not really advocating for fairness. You're advocating for essentially systematic racism. When you're mad that is being cleared up for us, because for us to essentially move up the economic ladder. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very aware of these people's they're just how slick they are, how they move. Because I always say, like, we are sandwiched in America, black foundational Black Americans. You know what I mean? These Democrats are racist. And these Republicans are just as racist on the right. Clearly, we know that. So it's like we really are battling on both sides. So I'll give the smoke to the left and the right. But I'll land there.
No doubt, Sam. With the space and whatnot. Definitely glad to have you up in the space. I want to give a shout out to my man Naheem. Lord Abel's up in the spot as well too. So shout out to that brother. He has a YouTube channel. You can also follow him here on Twitter as well too. So shout out to Naheem, Lord Abel. See my girl Aunt Li's up in the space too. Aunt Li, what's going on? It's been a minute since I heard you speak in the space, but go ahead, sweetie. Glad to have you in here.
How you doing? I believe the professor was before me.
No, you actually, we're trying to get the new people on. So
that's fine. I spoke already. Oh, okay. I just want to say I haven't really heard what y'all was talking about, but I know it was the student loans, and I'm so happy about it. If y'all know me, y'all know I'm long-winded, but baby, I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to control, and I think I like it. I'm excited. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give Joe $20, but then I was like, no, I'm not. I ain't got $20 to give. I have $200,000 in student loans. So again, with $200,000 in student loans, this $20,000 that I'm getting helps. If you ever took out a Pell Grant, it helps. Then they have the loan forgiveness. For 15 years, I worked as a social worker. I worked in the social services field, the probation officer, social work. So this really helps, because for those years that I worked, even if I didn't pay my loans back, which I didn't, that's why it's so high. I didn't pay them back. I was living, like, paying them back. No, I deferred them. Thank God for Jesus, they was deferred, because now they about to be forgiven, because I wasn't going to pay them. So they deferred. The program that they have now, really look into it, because the loan forgiveness, if you work for the 15 years, even if at the time, because usually after 10 years, if you make 120 payments on time, your loans could be forgiven if you worked in the public service. Now, even if you didn't pay your loans on time or whatever, but if you worked in the field, they're forgiving you for some. So that is a big, I'm excited. Like, it's giving me, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm excited. I'm happy for the people that have under $20,000 in loans who no longer now have that debt to carry, because that $20,000 would have been $40,000 by the time they would have been able. My sister-in-law had $27,000, and now because she was a public employee, she doesn't have any, because the $7,000 will probably be forgiven. So it's exciting. Hold on, my kids is bad. It's exciting. It's good, because it means a lot for a lot of people. I do agree what was said. I'm not sure. I think FBA Tech, it's only being done because they want to pander to us, and I'm cool with it. And you can pander however you need to pander. If y'all want to start giving us another stimulus check, you can go ahead and do that while you at it. Ain't no fun in my homies can't have nothing. Do whatever you feel you need to do to get us to vote. That don't mean we gonna vote. So it's like, if you want to pander, pander. So give the loan forgiveness. Give me the stimulus. Like, I'm here for it. Like, I'm here. You want to make night people to go out to the polls. Like, now is our chance to get it. But it's still not going to be enough, because they're not giving us what we asked for. I do like the fact that he said it. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. I know that he only did it because, again, he said he was going to do it. He didn't want to do it. And he was put in a corner. And the fact that he did it, and then he's doing the forgiveness thing, I'm cool with. But I just feel like, I agree, it's not enough. It's people who still have more loans. Again, $200,000. This little $20. I'm in the process. I'm in school now, so I got to take out $20,000. So literally, it's doing nothing for me. But the fact that everybody else that I know that it's doing something for and it's wiping out loans for people, it's exciting for me because I understand that pressure of having that debt and wanting to be able to do other things and not be able to do them because you have this debt. It doesn't work for private loans. So if you have a private loan, it means nothing. If you have a Parent Plus loan, it means nothing. So it is a small group of people, and it is a big thing because I don't, say, no, it's nothing. It's not. No, this is huge. This is like, like I might get it in. Like this is huge. Like I'm in a good mood. Like emotions is better. I've been depressed for a minute. This is huge, but it's not good enough. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Now he started, he gonna have to finish it, and I like the fact that because people was pushing forward and they forced his hand and he had to do it. He didn't have no choice. Of course, we know what's gonna happen that they're gonna come and say, "Oh, look what we did," and we're gonna look like we ain't asked for none of that shit. We ain't asked for no Juneteenth. We asked for reparations. So I mean, it's a good thing, but I do agree what was said about it only being done because let them pander to us. Like I'm staying home on election. I can't even tell you what day election day is, but I'm okay with you trying to do stuff to win my vote because you're gonna have to do stuff that I want you to do. But if you're not giving me reparations and what I need, like even with my lawsuit, if you're not stopping this discrimination or the police reform, if you're not doing the major things that we need, I mean it's all good, but it ain't good enough. So I land my plane.
Absolutely. To hear from you, sister. Made by Black Americans. Go ahead and unmute your mic for all those that's in the space. If you're not following Newstoter and the host, make sure you go ahead and follow Newstoter and the host.
Yes, peace and reparations to the folks in the building.
Just real quick, Made by. Hey, support our sister online. She got her book out, called Allegedly. So support this sister right here, because over here in Jersey, that's the machine over here. But, over here in Jersey, where we from, that's my sister from up around the way, Brick City in the building. They trying to do our sister real dirty. So go on the Jumbotron right here, y'all, and look at sister's book right there. Go hit the website up. Go ahead, Mayba.
Yeah, appreciate it. I really think this is a huge win for the people, for all people. But I think this is an advantage for white people because this is going to affect white people more than black, even though it does affect some black people. We are disproportionately affected by everything. So this wasn't a move that a lot of people are going to be like, yo, this is for black people only. No, this was a move for all people. So that was a win for the White House, and they're fighting back. I mean, they really needed this to show that they could provide some tangible. Another thing that I was going to want to say, we have to remind ourselves that the Democrats were against it. Many people in the Democratic Party were extremely against this. I fought tooth and nail. A lot of people in the rooms. I don't remember even one Democrat that was in support of student loans. I mean, I know mentors, teachers, CEOs who are Democrats, who are loyal, who are faithful to the Democratic Party, who are strictly against student debt, and they said that we don't really deserve to get it canceled. So always have in the back of your mind that we really need to be careful and not celebrate when it comes to we could celebrate this as a win, but we also have to remember it was Democrats who prevented this and who also discouraged us from getting this debt cancellation. And I do think it is a win. It shows some type of progress, but what we really want to see is we want to see some things that are going to help Black Americans, not just one, but some tangibles, particularly for us. That's all I wanted to say.
Amen to that, brother. We definitely, and they talk about if this thing goes through 20 million people will be without the federal debt, student loan debt. You got to wonder out of that 20 million, how many of them will actually be Black Americans? That's the whole thing that we need to actually look at and see how many of our people are actually going to benefit from this as well. We're going to get to Black people. I know you just came in the room, so we'll go ahead and let you get on here. Unmute your mic, brother.
Peace. It's a pleasure to be here. This room sounds like one of the more productive rooms that I've been in so far. So it's a pleasure to hear that much. And all I wanted to say first and foremost was that with the debt relief, I am excited as well. I mean, I'm in school right now, And all I want to come from this is maybe, hopefully, more of us could get into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. When I came in, there was a lot of people on the video calls and all that. A lot of us. As shit got a little harder and we got more further up in the thing and further up than what was necessary, I started seeing people like trickle off, and I would try to like make study groups and shit, but everybody started falling off in the liberal arts and law and all this stuff. And I just want to see more of us in STEM is all. That's really all it is, because we on their platforms right now. If I watch a lot of old lectures, right? I watch a lot of Claude Anderson. If fucking Kevin Leor decide he don't want Claude Anderson on YouTube, it's no more Claude Anderson. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Thanks for the time.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Glad to have you in the space, and make sure you can catch us Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we normally do our Twitter spaces. Glad to have you in here. Hope to see you in here on a regular if you can make it. If not, then we pretty much always record the spaces, so you can always catch that as well. If you guys can you try to support us on Cash App too? That's $Newstoter. If you got $1 you want to throw it our way, more than glad to accept it. The largest news curation, black-owned news curation site today. That is $Newstoter. Let's let I know we got Professor and FBA next. Oh, I forgot my brother McCoo up in here. Let's let brother McCoo get up in here. Brother McCoo, go to unmute your mic. I just seen you came up in here, brother.
Hey, what's going on, family? Peace and reparations to everybody. Hope y'all can hear me. Nice space. As far as to the title, I don't want to sound like a stickler, but I'm still on cut my check. I mean, yeah, it's good you forgiving the student loans, but that's not really a benefit directly to my children or my children who I'll never even get to meet. So I just wanted to just remind everybody, like, yeah, he giving this gesture. I feel like it's desperate. He's desperate. Still not getting my vote till you cut a check. Forgiving my loan, all right, that's cool, but I need some tangibles because I'm in need of repair. You done taught me backwards, and I've been relating to my family backwards. All this done because of y'all. Telling me my mother or my mother's sister was my aunt and all that crap, man. Y'all been switching our heads around. So I need a check. I need a check because I need to issue my direct repair. I can't depend on my enemy to give me the correct repair because he's been lying to me all this time. So I love the space Newstoter, and DJ, everybody on live, love all y'all. But as far as this black man go, as far as this Negro go, man, cut my check. Cut my check, and then maybe I'll talk to you. But you gotta cut my check first. I landed.
Hey, we in agreement with you too now. Don't think because the title of the the room is about the student loan like that. That's the current news. That's the topic. At news, so we got to go ahead and try to stay up to date with it and whatnot. So don't think that we also, brother McCoo, don't believe in that as well too. And not only that, like I know they talk about this is supposed to cost $300 million, but how many billions have they out? And peace to my sister Tony for saying that and leaving a comment. But they give Ukraine money every day. They've given Ukraine billions of dollars. So if they want to get rid of the entire student debt, it could be done. What they've given Ukraine already has gotten rid of the entire student debt as well. So that would have got rid of the entire student debt right there. So they can go ahead and do that. And then they can go ahead and get on our reparations as well, too. So we with you, brother. Don't think that we not with you. We definitely feeling you now. I'm going to go ahead to I'm going to go to Dr. Deborah next because I know she sometimes Dr. Deborah cuts out early. So we want to go ahead and get this sister's point of view one more time, just in case. Khalil, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I've been listening to this, and I've been putting some quotes in the DM so you can read those. I am in agreement with everyone here. It's feel good, but at the same time, I'm very. I have two parents, a mother and father, and they work just like the Republicans and Democrats. When we were kids, my sister and I, if we wanted to go outside, my mother would say, "Go ask your father." My father would say, "Go ask your mother." And in between both of them, we never went outside. And that's how I believe the Democrats and Republicans works with the American people. Secondly, when people talk about we live in a Christian nation, that's a big lie also. And I went to school to study it. Refer them back to the book of Leviticus about Jubilee. If you get in the Bible, had that freedom of year, they called it the year Jubilee. We don't practice that in this country. If we did, then President Biden would have taken the interest off of those student loans. And interest is the devil. And if you don't think so, you'll be paying that. You'll be paying the interest, and that $10,000 to $20,000 will be replaced while you're paying down the debt that they're supposedly taking away. So I'll land my plane there. And I hope everybody has a good night.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. You're right. That interest is something else. Dr. Deborah, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, thank you. That was great. Thank you, Brother Khalil, because I think we need to just keep this critical thinking about it going on. But my hand did go up after Brother. What did he? I think he may have left. Brother, oh gosh, the one who was very happy about it, who was saying that it was a good win for the White House. So yes, okay. When I think like Aunt Lai was saying, she has over $200,000 in student loan debt, and so she won't necessarily feel it. So there are a lot of people whose loans are so far from that 10,000 that okay, thank you, but I won't necessarily be greatly impacted by it. But when he was speaking, it made me, sometimes we have to come down off our high horse. And I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about anyone else in this room. I'm talking about me, the way I was looking at it. I was looking at it from this big old macro lens. But for those who go to school, like I'm in New York, most of you know, and we have the CUNY system of it's called City University of New York, having several colleges, and the tuition, those are the city colleges as opposed to the state colleges. So of course, the state colleges are a little more expensive than the city colleges, but for those students will feel a great impact. They will feel a little relief. But people who have gone to private universities and larger colleges even, they're not going to necessarily feel it. So I don't want to leave the space or have you all think that I'm just poo-pooing it, because I do know that many Black Americans will be positively impacted by this move, especially those qualified for the Pell Grant, right? That's a whole nother category. So the 20,000 versus the 10,000. So I don't want you all to think that I'm just so jaded that I can't see the positivity for some. And I know it's going to impact a lot of people positively. But I think what we want to do, and I can leave it at this, is make sure that we don't join the praise wagon that all the Democrats are riding around the street in, or anyone else, just because we know that it is going to positively impact some of our people. And here's why. If we start applauding in great numbers, they're going to spend this as a form of reparations, and we cannot allow that. So it's let me just give this analogy, and then I'll be quiet, and I'll even go back down to listener before I leave. Think about you or myself being in a physically abusive relationship, and the person, our partner, comes home with some flowers and says, "I'm sorry." So I think we have to keep that type of analogy in our mind as it relates to this student debt loan forgiveness. because it's just a little something to them back in the door. What is the door? The door is our vote. And so this doesn't, like somebody else said, who was that? I don't know, brother, I think. This doesn't move me towards the president nor elected officials who are Democrats just by him doing this. It will move a lot of people, though. It will move a lot of people. But I think because we're in this reparation space, we have to keep the pressure up, and we cannot fall for a bouquet of flowers when we know the abuse is going to return until there's true repair. So I'll land there, and thank you again for your great space, Newstoter.
Definitely, thank you, Dr. Deborah. Before you leave, I wanted to I want to agree with you on that. About I can just see the way they're going to try to spin this with the and they're already trying to spin it right now, saying that it's going to help Black people the most and this and that. So you can already see that the spin job is already coming in, because you're going to talk about that Black people, especially Black women, are impacted the most by student debt loans. So you're right. That's going to be one thing that the Biden's camp is going to use when it's election time, saying, well, that's going to be one of the things with the Juneteenth and getting Brown in there as a Supreme Court justice, and then this right here, and then they're going to be talking about, just this kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that they're going to use to talk about definitely as a form of reparations. And another thing, I did not know you lived in New York. Do you live in New York City?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have to ask you this, like, how in the world do y'all afford, like, the rent and everything up there? Like, I heard it's, like, something from, like, $4,500 on up. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, the average is like $5,400. It's crazy. I think there are so many housing projects, right? So people really don't move from those, right? So they have that, and the rent doesn't change, right? And then there are a lot of people who receive Section 8 assistance, and they just recently reopened that. So, a lot of people are just barely surviving in those type of housings. Others have been in their abode for a long time, increasing exponentially. What happened was so many people fled the city during the pandemic that it opened a door for landlords to come and raise those rents as people started to move back into the city, because they suffer so many losses, So it's a hard place to live. It's a hard place to live if you don't have a good job, and that's why we have to keep fighting for these wages and just everything. I started out. I'm a restorative justice expert, and one area that has been particularly where I've spent most of my time is around criminal justice reform, especially as it relates to the formerly incarcerated, because a lot of times they come home, they have these to-dos. You have to have some place to live. You have to have a job. You have to have this. You can't live here. You can't live there. Well, in New York, there are parks everywhere. There are schools everywhere. So if you have any type of sexual assault, any type of sex act conviction, that's going to make it that much harder for you. So I spent a lot of time doing criminal justice reform, and it is very, very hard for people to get out and stay out. So the recidivism rate is very, very high here. And so housing becomes that much harder, not just for people who are just making their way through life, but for people who are trying to, I've gone, I've served my time, I'm back, I want to make a go of life again in the right way. So I don't want people to ever forget about those who come, returning citizens who come back and they really don't have any place to stay. So your question was about just those of us, working stiffs, just doing the thing. But I really want to raise awareness around populations of people who really need others to help them in a significant way. And what's happened is we've had two administrations, city administrations, mayors, who are largely indebted to real estate developers. And so our homelessness situation is still horrible. And when you put the homelessness with the returning citizens who can't always go home, they can't always go home, so they have to have somewhere to live. That's just exacerbated by what? A lot of immigrants, right, who are coming from Texas now, and they're moving to the front of the line. Don't let me get on a soapbox. You asked me a simple question, and I went on a tangent. So, yes, it's very expensive to live here, but you can do it. It's just hard. You can't have a whole lot of extras. Anyway, good night, and thank you so much for this episode.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate it, and keep up the good work. Keep doing the work in the community. We definitely appreciate you. Okay, I see Loke is up in here. Loke, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what's going on, Newstoter?
What's going on?
I'm chilling, man. So, you already know, I explained this to you. I come from a real estate background. I've been doing real estate for 13 years. So, I'm just going to piggyback off of what she said. And, yeah, it's difficult to live here. Can you do it? Yes. You would need some type of subsidy section. Or you can actually find somebody who owns the property and ask them to, rent their, rent their room or their apartment. So you can also do that as well. And I would say the lowest.
Hold on 1 second, Dr. Deborah. I think your mic is still on.
Yeah, you know what? My phone locked up on me, and I'm trying to get out. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead.
So yeah, you can still find some affordable places. It depends on where you look, where you want to live. I don't agree with this idiot Eric Adam whatsoever. What he's doing so far, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, you have a homeless problem, you need to deal with that, buddy. You need to seriously deal with that. That should be your main go-to. These immigrants, you need to ship them back to wherever the hell they came from. $300 million going towards them. What? Like, to me, that's ridiculous. Like, people can't even find homes. And this is the funny thing.
Now, at $300 million they talking about it will be for the clearing up the student debt loan. That's what they talking about.
Yeah, that ain't gonna help anybody. not from what I know and what I see. I know plenty of people who have like pretty big student debt loan, and that ain't gonna put against if they need help with. But yeah, what I was gonna say, here's the last thing I'm gonna say, is that there are people in New York who they have really good jobs. They have really good jobs, and I would say they pay around. I mean, they make around $100K plus, and they still can't find an apartment. And credit is key. Your credit has to be 650 and up for you get an apartment. And then you also got to watch out for the scammer realtors who run and take your money. So, you have a lot of things going against you. There are a lot of people who are fighting for survival. So that's basically what I got to say.
Okay, no problem. Glad to have you up in the space. I think this may be the first time I heard you speak, bro. So go ahead. I know you hit me up on the DMs and whatnot. I'm glad that you came through, and I'm glad that you spoke. So definitely, you're always welcome to come up in the space and speak. So definitely remember that. We got Professor. Okay, I didn't see you for a second. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, thank you again, what we pretty much all been saying. What he did with this whole student cancellation, debt cancellation, is a joke. just being honest, it's a joke. He has the authority to do more. That is just to wipe it all clean, if he really wants to do that. Now, let's just be honest, man. In this country, America is a country that's all about keeping people at the bottom. That's the bottom line. And it wants certain people to be at the bottom. And that seems to be us. So that's why when we ask about tangibles, or we looking for tangibles, we are not getting them because they want us at the bottom. So we got to continue to fight against other groups to try to make sure we can maintain just a little bit that we do have, which they trying to, of course, strip us of that. But that's what America is about. America is about keeping people in the chains. Financially, health, education, all of it, they want to keep you at the bottom. Okay? That's what this is all about. And so when we look at this whole student loan debt and all the rest of this crap, that's what America is. That's why they so big on this whole capitalist and free enterprise and call themselves a Christian nation and all this stuff. This nation is all about keeping people in poverty. That's the bottom line. I land my plane there.
No doubt, Professor. Appreciate it. And thank you, Michelle, for your contribution on Cash App. I want to also say this, the thing, too, that is going to be interesting midterms come up is that our people themselves are going to sit up here and say this thing does pass, say somehow Republicans, because right now they're telling you straight up, they already tell us this is another form of welfare and entitlements and all this other stuff. So, you know, when they start talking about it's welfare and whatnot, who they think that it's going to benefit. So, but here's the thing, man, is that our people themselves are going to sit up here and something like this that goes to help everybody, because there's nothing that they've ever passed that just went solely to help black people. This is going to go to help everybody. And I predict if it's going to go help everybody, it's going to help more people, white and minorities, than it actually is black people. So when this happens, you're going to have black people sitting up here just like you did with the Affordable Care Act. You have black people that would sit up and swear to you that the Affordable Care Act basically was a bill that solely helped black people. So our people are going to sit up here and they're going to say the same thing. They're going to say, well, you know, he got rid of student loan debt. That helped mostly black people. The same way they sit up here with the Affordable Care Act. And it's like, no, man, that's not the point of like we're saying repair and reparations, where it's help other people as well. This has to totally only help one group of people. And until we get that in our head, man, like I said, you can expect when we go out to vote, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have our own people sitting up there saying, well, you know, he can't do everything just for black people. That's the main thing they always say. He's the president of the United States. They can't just do only thing for black people. Now, when you stop them, you say, well, didn't they, when they had the COVID pandemic and stuff, didn't they give the Asian businesses just money themselves? Like you just hear like just crickets in the room. Now you don't hear anything else. It just totally goes quiet when you hear that. When you say that, like, well, didn't they do this for this? Didn't they do this for the Afghans? And then they do this for these people and this people here. And you just don't hear anything after that. Yeah, like it just all you hear is crickets. Like. But when you say this for black people themselves get upset when you say this. So this is what we're going to have to guard against here, because black people are going to they're going to be the ones. I'm telling you, they're going to be the ones. Well, he can't do everything just for black people. And well, he did this and this helped black people. And the affordable care, like black people before, like every person in the country that was black got insurance because of the affordable health care. I had insurance, okay? Like it didn't give me insurance, and I'm not against anybody who did get insurance, but don't sit here and say like certain bills that go to help everybody is something that help black people, just like they do with criminal justice reform. It's always when they start talking about we're going to do something that this should benefit black people, and basically trying to say, well, you know, most of y'all in jail anyway, so this is going to help y'all. No, it doesn't work like that, man. Ray, I'm going to go ahead and let you unmute you. I know you was waiting for it, and then we're going to get to you, brother Makuza. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I'm sorry, real quick. Could you repeat that last part you just said? You went out.
Oh, okay. When I was saying that they was talking about like the criminal justice reform and you know how
So I did hear you right. So according to what you just told me, the only way I can benefit from one of Biden's policies is if I'm a criminal. Is that the way I'm understanding that?
When they start talking about doing the criminal justice reform, like they always trying to side-hand it and say that it's black people. Like, well, yeah, we're gonna help black people out because we're gonna do criminal justice reform. And I'm like, what you trying to say here? Like,
exactly, yeah, you have to like really listen to the little underhanded things that people say. So I want to ask you that, and also I was going to ask you what you feel about Ron DeSantis. I'm sorry, somebody talking.
Yeah, Ray, I was going to actually just make a correction there. It was actually introduced by Trump, that criminal justice reform. He was working on that before he left office.
Either way, both of them. So you're telling me only
the Democrats say it all of the time it's like talking point for both parties. Talk about criminal justice reform. Like, hey, okay, black people, we got something for you right here. We gonna do a little reform to the criminal justice system.
Yeah, we're gonna pay the motherfuckers that are being racist too. You're gonna give them more money to not be racist. Like what? Yeah, is that really? Am I living in the Twilight Zone right now? But I was gonna ask you really two questions. The first one was about Ron DeSantis. You know, I got to come back to your boy. He said that it's unfair to force a truck driver who put years and years in it to pay for a loan for someone who got a PhD in gender studies. Taxpayers shouldn't be footing the bill for student loan relief. And hold on. Taxpayers shouldn't be footing the bill for student loan relief, and Biden's order isn't constitutional, as everyone said. If anything, the university shouldn't be handing out worthless degrees, and they should be the ones on the hook. And we let's not forget, black family. Let us not forget that Biden promised billions or millions to black farmers, and to this day they still haven't gotten it. And to the black people that ran around during election season using as a talking point, they've been silent as hell.
Here's what I find funny about that right now. If we can go back to when Obama was president, and we had the we had the banking and we had the auto industry bailout. And as much as people might not be fans of Obama, everybody said, well, Obama, he bailed out the banks and he bailed out the auto industry. But people forget that it was actually George W. Bush that actually got that rolling. All Obama really did was go in and just go ahead and give it the final say, basically. So it was George W. Bush that actually got that rolling. And let me ask you, how many billions of dollars did they give the damn auto industry and they give the damn banking industry? You had the banking industry up here with they shiesty mortgage interest rates and everything. I mean, people one day their house is the mortgage is $700 or something like that. A year or two later, it's $1,700 or it's $1,200, and now it's $3,000-$4,000 sitting up here writing mortgage loans for people that they know could not afford it. Yet they went ahead and they bailed out the banks and they bailed out the damn mortgage companies as well, because they were saying, well, if we don't bail them out, the recession that we in is going to be even worse. So I know you had a lot of Republicans that was against that, because too Obama was doing it. Like I said, I'm not a huge Obama fan, but because Obama was doing it, was bad. But it was George W. Bush that went ahead, because it was his presidency that went ahead and saw everything go straight down. Like, I mean, when George W. Bush came into office, you had a surplus of money, and then when this joker left, you had a damn deficit. So what are they really talking about here? They went ahead and, like I said, they can go ahead and they can bail out the banks and this and that. They can give all these money to these $1-trillion companies, Chrysler and all the rest of them was going bankrupt, going belly up, went ahead and breathed life back into them. But you can't go ahead and get rid of, like I said, if you're going to do it, I mean, you can go ahead and get rid of damn college. And not only that, let's be honest. And this is another thing they were saying, like I said, they talk about that college shouldn't be free. I heard Republicans, I was listening to this radio station, it was a conservative station. These jokers sitting up here talking about college shouldn't be free. It's not an entitlement. It's an investment. And like they talk about it's the welfare and this and that or whatnot. So this is the kind of mindset that you up against right here. They think that's going to benefit black people or even some poor people. They dead set against. They're talking about that. Now you got other parts in the country, other parts in the world, that go ahead and they give their citizens free education. But they were saying basically too that if it's free and it's an entitlement, well, what's to really go ahead? You have nothing vested. You have no skin in the game. So what's to actually make you go in there and actually try and put forth any effort, since it's just being given to you? Because in this country they just give black people stuff all the time. So this is the kind of mindset that we're dealing with here in America, man. Brother Maku, go ahead and unmute your mic, brother, and then we're going to get to Aunt Lyde, and we're going to get to you, Khalil.
Okay, I thought Aunt Lyde would speak for me.
No, you had your hand up. You and Ray had your hand up, but we can, if you want to, we can go ahead and let Aunt Lyde get up in there.
Yeah, Aunt Lyde can go before me. Ladies first.
Go ahead, Aunt Lyde.
I just wanted to say really quick, I agree with everything you're saying, and it's the same. It's shameless plug, but I wrote about it in my book. The reason why, and the thing is, back in the day, they used to really be undercover about their racism. Now they're so emboldened with it, and that's why they say we're going to do something for Black people. We're going to do criminal justice reform because the U.S. government continues to profit from slavery via the criminal justice system. The powers that be know that the system literally, after the 13th Amendment was created, they immediately penalize or criminalize behaviors that were seen, that were coming from the Black community, like homelessness or laundering and things of that nature, because this country, even for the war, but they still wanted slavery because that's how they profit. It's no longer in cotton. They had to figure out how can we make our money from the people that they brought over here to make money, and they continue to do that via the criminal justice system. And I'm on the I'm in the thing. And the reason why they did that, they still continue to profit from slavery via the criminal justice system. And they know this. That's why they're so emboldened about it. But a lot of people don't realize that's what it is. We think of certain things as isolated incidents or one having not to do with the other when it directly is directly correlated. What they're doing is out in the open. I do think that the student loan, what was done is not enough, but I think it's something, and I believe it was done, like someone said, out of desperation, 100% out of desperation. Because Black America, ADOS, FBA have been trending all Black August. Every time you turn around, it's something trending on Twitter. Like somebody from that, remember, it's two Americans. So somebody from Black America, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we ain't taking it no more. And what we need to do now, and I do agree with the sentiment or what was said as far as they're going to look at it like, oh, this is a win for us. That's why we continually have to put the pressure. It's not a win for us. We don't mind the little tokens you're throwing at us, but that's not good enough. And we have to be strategic about it. So this platform, thank you for having it today, is a good idea. To be happy about it, that is fine, but also have the sentiment that is not enough, because unlike in past generations, this reparation movement is not just a Black people to be. We standing up for each other, left and right. And again, with my situation and the lawsuit, me having to, just coming on Twitter, I think it's been maybe like 90 days, 120 at the most, and I already had somebody from Hollywood wanting to do the rights to the book to do a movie. So it's slowly.
There we go. Why you DM me and let me know that? Now, come on.
I've been so I don't want to say depressed because that was a lie, but I just been so going through it emotionally. My great uncle just passed away. My grandmother's last surviving sibling. And
sorry to hear that. Definitely prayers to you and your family. Definitely sorry to hear that, sister.
But it's just, I feel like it's an awakening that's happened. Like people with the discrimination lawsuits, it's an awakening that's happening. I'm glad it's happening, but we got to continue to keep our foot on their necks. And yes, to be happy with this, but we need to literally keep it hush and be happy with each other. But reparations. And I let my friend. But yes, reparations.
Absolutely. We're gonna get to you, Brother McCool. Let us get to MF Kush real quick. MF, go ahead and unmute your mic. Glad to have you in the space, as always.
Thank you. Hey, well, shout out to everybody in the room. So look, I just wanted to say this about reality. Okay, that's fine and dandy that Biden wanted to from school loan debt. That's all great, whatever. But it doesn't cover the atrocities that have already been committed against us as a community. It doesn't cover the trauma and that little shit was also been committed against us as a community. At the end of the day, when it comes specifically to the Democrats, with them using their tactics of fear in order to gain a vote, I mean, the small gesture is fine, but I don't trust it. I don't trust nothing that Biden is talking about, because he needs to take a nap anyway. I don't trust nothing that Kamala's over there talking about, because she's all over the fucking place, and she don't want to do nothing for black people specifically, quote unquote. So the reality of it is, I mean, like I said, I don't fuck with Biden. I don't fuck with Kamala. I don't trust him. And the justice cute enough, but the bigger picture is, give us the money that you owe us. Give us the reparations that you owe us. And then we could talk about this shit. Maybe if they were more willing to be susceptible to that, or some way, shape, or form, I would be more willing to
be more understanding. But I'm not trusting them. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate you always supporting the platform as well too. Glad to hear your opinion and your point of view on this subject matter as well. Brother McCoo, then we're going to get to you, Khalil. So, Brother McCoo.
Hey, Totter.
Go ahead and unmute your mic.
I'm going to step away from the mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to, Tyler, you brought up a really, really interesting point with the numbers. Sam did too earlier, but, you brought up that interesting number, 300 million. Family, I want us to understand and just keep this in the front of our mind. 300 million ain't shit compared to what's owed. You know what I'm saying? 300 million can be taken care of with $1 trillion and still have change to live fabulous. They owe us up in the we talking about triple digits in the trillions. So you talking about giving us doing 300 million, and then it's for everybody, not just specifically for Negroes. Nah, that ain't nothing. Even if he wiped out everybody's debt. You know what I'm saying? Even if he wiped out Dr. Deborah's debt, large debt, everybody's debt. You know what I'm saying? As far as student loan, man, that's still pennies compared to what's owed to our ancestors and us and our children. You know what I'm saying? And their children. Because, see, we got to understand it. We ain't looking for no one-time payment. And we ain't looking for no payments. We looking for payments that's going to outlast us and our children and their children. So I just wanted to say that. And I wanted to also say, man, these scientists, they taking melanin and they are producing batteries from our melanin. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no student loan wiping out no student loan debt ain't going to take care. Just that. Man, they're taking out melanin and making batteries. I posted that up on my page if y'all want to take a look at the article. This shit is crazy. Scientists are doing that now. So, I land my plane there.
So these mugs just use us as guinea pigs, basically, right here. How the hell you use meth? You doing what? They using it for batteries.
Right, they are making batteries. I'm gonna on real quick so y'all can see it. This shit is crazy. So when we talking about the temporary boycotting of this vote and executing this plan that we need to execute, it ain't just to keep our foot on their necks, it's to break that fucking neck of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Eliminate it and we don't even want to reform that shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck criminal reform. We want to replace it, a system of compensatory justice. You know what I'm saying? And man, that's a violation. Yeah, they're taking out melanin and making batteries. And they want to be selling them in Giant, and they're going to be selling them in all your supermarkets, your 7-Elevens. Just imagine you getting a melanin battery from a gas station that you pumping gas in your car with. Oh man, that's mind blowing. BlackRock, we need to be going to BlackRock, and we need to be dismantling this whole system.
Definitely, and make sure you DM me that, bro. I gotta see this too. Like, make sure you send me that in a DM as well. Like, goddamn. Hey, Khalil, we gonna go to Khalil, then we gonna let DJ go ahead because he's got a little quick video with who was it, Elizabeth Warren that you wanted to play, DJ, about 1-2 minutes.
Yeah, Brother McCool, we're owed in the quadrillions, over 6 quadrillion and counting. And as far as with the situation that happened with Buffalo, with this white joker paying Gaga having reparations on the butts, stock barrel of his gun, the price, yesterday's price ain't today's price. You already know, dog. And
absolutely.
So before I give it to you, Khalil, y'all don't think, and let me let Khalil, because I don't want to go ahead and Khalil, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, and Brother McCoo, is not just batteries, it's melatonin pills and a lot of other things that we don't even know about that they're using us for. And
Henrietta Lacks, for those that don't know, look that sister up. Henrietta Lacks, how they used her cells to cure all types of diseases. So everything that's a cure for something nowadays came from a black Negro woman. Let's go.
And deeper than that, in 14th, 13th centuries, what they were doing, eating our body parts for long life and longevity, but we ain't going to go into that. But what Aunt Lai was talking about earlier was very interesting about the 13th Amendment about slavery. Slavery never died. And if anybody in your family is unemployed, it's because the prisons are taking up the slack. And you have now corporations suing municipalities and cities because they said our prisons are not up to capacity. So we're suing you because our money is being messed up because we don't have too many people being arrested in our prisons so that we can pay them virtually in order to do the producing of our products. And what I'm also concerned about is that if you have surplus unemployed people in this country, what's the next plan? Is it indentured servitude 2.0? So that's something else that we have to consider as well. So I'll land my plane there.
Appreciate it. DJ, go ahead and play that video real quick.
Hold on 1 second. One second. All right, y'all. This right here is titled PBS News Hour. You know, I only watch PBS since a kid. You know what I mean? So, Senator Warren weighs in on Biden's student loan forgiveness on PBS News Hour.
President Biden's plan to cancel some student debt for millions of Americans is drawing praise but also criticism. Some say it goes too far, while others say it doesn't do enough to address the high cost of college. Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, has long advocated for even larger relief to the president's top advisors before the final announcement, and she joins me now. Senator Warren, welcome back to the News Hour. Always good to have you here. You have hailed this move as one of the biggest acts of consumer debt relief in American history. But as we pointed out, you have also long fought for more relief. And my colleague Laura Barone Lopez had reported you were among those who was making the pitch to the president in those final hours to get him to go beyond that 10,000 he was comfortable with. So tell us, what was your final pitch to the president on this?
So it was about concentrating the relief to those who need it. That's where the president ended up. Remember, a lot of people talk about this as $10,000 of cancellation. The majority of people who will have their loan debt canceled will get $20,000 of cancellation. And that's because the president said $10,000 is the base, but another $10,000 for anyone who had a Pell Grant when they were in college. And remember who that is. 95% of the folks who have Pell Grants had family incomes under 60 years. I wanted more, and I'll still fight for more. I think there's more good that we could do. But there's concentration where it is needed the most. And that means that this morning, 20 million Americans woke up without student loan debt for the first time in their adult lives. And another 23 million Americans woke up knowing that their student loan debt burden is going to be smaller than it was. So, and I think that's good.
Let's keep that in. And I'm going to walk through the math. Tell me if I've got something wrong here. But you know, as well as I do, the disparities, the racial disparities on this, right? Black borrowers in particular carry higher debts than their white counterparts. According to numbers I've seen from the NAACP, Black borrowers on average have about $53,000 in student debt 4 years out of school. So $20,000 in loan forgiveness, that cuts the debt down to $33,000. That's not an insignificant amount of debt to still carry.
Yep. Oh, look, I pushed for a higher number in no small part for exactly that reason, to maximize how much we could close the racial wealth gap. But make no mistake, $20,000 of debt forgiveness, particularly when it's concentrated among Pell recipients, helps get us in the right direction on closing the racial wealth gap. Think of it this way. Half of all Latinos, for example, right now, who have student loan debt, will see their debt entirely wiped out. About half of all African Americans will see their debt wiped out.
That's huge. If I may, let me put to you some of the criticism that we've already seen in.
So you notice the newscaster lady brought up black people, but she still mentioned brown Latinos.
The last day, certainly coming from about half of all African Americans will see their debt wiped out. That's huge.
If I may, let me put to you some of the criticism that we've already seen in the last day, certainly coming from Republicans, but also from your fellow Democrats, right? You've seen Representative Tim Ryan, for example, who's in a tight Senate race in Ohio. Here's what he said. He said, waiving debt for those already on a trajectory to financial sends the wrong message to the millions of Ohioans without a degree working just as hard to make ends meet. So, Senator, it's true some like 60% of Americans over the age of 25 don't have a college degree. Talk to those people, the millions of Americans who say this is unfair. They don't want their tax dollars used to carry out what they see as a bailout for many others.
Well, you know, let's talk about fairness, but let's, as I said, start with the fact that many of the people we're talking about here do not have college degrees, and they are not on a trajectory to have great wealth. Most of the benefits of this program are going to go to people who have an income under $75,000. This is part of the reason that the unions fought so hard for working people to be able to get these benefits. But we should talk about fairness. Here's the fairness I think about. When I was growing up, my daddy ended up as a janitor. I wanted to be a public school teacher. I found a public university that would cost $50 a semester. So on a price I could pay for on a part-time waitressing job, I was able to go to college, finish my diploma, and become a public school teacher. That opportunity is just not out there today.
What about that cost of college? We've seen tuition soar over the last 2 decades. There are concerns that this move could actually drive people to believe there will be debt relief and that colleges could now actually raise tuition. Students would end up borrowing more. The student debt crisis gets worse. Is that a risk?
Absolutely. We really need to address the cost and the rising cost of college. And there are a lot of different ways we do that. For example, the Democrats in the last stimulus package put a lot of money into the historically black colleges and universities to be able to help support those schools so they could bring down their tuition. I have been working very hard on a piece of legislation that requires more transparency. So the schools actually have to reveal the true cost of going, how many graduate, how long it takes people to graduate, and how much money they make on the other side. There are a lot of schools that are resisting.
And Senator, if I may, the concern that this move could actually make that student debt crisis worse. Do you share that concern?
Well, I don't see it that way. What I see is that we have a problem with the cost of higher ed. And it has gone up too fast, and it is the responsibility of Congress and the Department of Education to step in. Part of what has happened is the states have cut back on support for their public institutions, and that means families have to pay. So when you see the sticker price going up, it may not be because the college is trying to spend more money to provide that education, but because the state has taken away money.
Senator, top on voters' minds is this issue of inflation. And there are also concerns, even from centrist Democratic policy groups, that this could actually be inflationary. It could undermine some of the work that's been done. If that is the case, was this one-time cancellation worth it?
So, first of all, there's no data to back this up. The latest evidence, including something out today from, I think it was from Goldman Sachs, said the effect will be negligible of doing the cancellation.
The Committee for Responsible Budget has said that they think this could undermine some of the gains made from the recently passed Inflation Reduction Act.
They said a very tiny percent. But what they're ignoring is the smart thing that the president has done. He has coupled debt cancellation with restarting repayments for the 23 million Americans who will owe student loan debt. That means that for those people, on average, paying about $400 a month in student loan debt payments, pulls that money out of the economy. That is not inflationary. That's actually a way to inflation. It's deflationary. And so when the two are put together, I think the effect we're going to see is that this move helps us fight inflation and helps us bring down costs overall for families.
I think it's fair to say this is an issue we're going to be hearing a lot about in the weeks and the months ahead. Elizabeth Warren, Democratic Senator from Massachusetts, thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Tomorrow we'll...
Go ahead, Brother McCoo. I see you got your hand up.
This is definitely why she didn't make president, because she's an idiot.
I almost spit my damn drink out. I'm gonna go down, bro.
I think that, bro. Elizabeth Warren, she's just so stupid, bro. Just like what she just don't realize sometimes what she says out of her mouth.
I think a lot of the problems, man, it really comes down to the fact that this country has like totally put education aside for so long, and it's really catching up with a lot of everybody. You know what I mean? And I think that you know what I mean. I talked with brother Moko the other day. You know, about just BlackRock, Vanguard, all of these big ass trillionaires, right? That's music to their ears when they hear that you got people that's falling behind the education, that's becoming dumber when technology is getting more advanced, right? That just sets the trap and the foundation for these people to live like kings, become trillionaires, plus, you know what I'm saying? Because now we're not smart enough to essentially break the systems, compete with them, whatever. So they excel further, we regress further. And that's what we're really seeing. You know what I mean? There's two ways to increase income, right? You can cut your debt down, or you can increase your skills to make more income. So cutting debt, yes, that might help a lot of people's situation temporarily, but the shit is still going to catch back up to them if we can't make income and compete with these big ass, trillionaire corporations that's all around us. You know what I'm saying? And we're not only competing with the trillionaires are just at the top of the pyramid. You know what I'm saying? We got to compete with the 100K white people, 200K white people, 300K white people, a millionaire white people. You know what I'm saying? So far behind that we need so much legislation and funding, to our communities to really catch up. So it's like they really dropped the ball with the education. You know what I'm saying? Because and just the funding and it's gonna take a miracle to try to fix this shit. We all gonna have to come together. But I'll end there.
Go ahead, Professor. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter. The deal is, man, this country is not trying to provide any type of assistance or give us any type of reparations or try to give us anything solely for us. And that's just the bottom line. They're not going to do it. They're trying to find any way they can to get around it. Elizabeth Warren, at one time, she was all out there about this whole student loan debt thing. Now it's like she's flip-flopped. And see, that's the shit that I get tired of. I'm sorry, Newstoter, I didn't mean to cuss, but that's the type of stuff that I hate. They see that millions of Americans out here, Black Americans, we need our reparations. We need reparations. We need all the things that our ancestors have built and worked for in this country. We need all of it. This student loan debt it's really nothing. I mean, it's a start, but I'd like to see that. I would like to have the reparations. I would like to see that anti-hate crime bill passed. I would like to see all of this stuff that we deserve get passed just for us. That's what I want to see. This country needs to do right by Black people. That's all I want to see. I don't want to hear all this hypocrisy, man. And this is the thing that drives me crazy. This is all we get is hypocrisy. These folks are coming out saying that they don't think we should get this because it's welfare. Student loan debt cancellation is not welfare. It's not. Because we know that's who they're talking to. They're talking to us. They don't want us to get anything. That's exactly who they're talking to, us, Black Americans. And so it's just so much hypocrisy in America. And I'm just, and all the lying and the hypocrisy and hollering that you're a Christian nation, it's a wonder this shit ain't burned the fuck up, y'all. All this lying and shit. All this hypocrisy. I land my plane there.
No doubt, no doubt. DJ, go ahead, man. I see you right about that, Professor. Like, I always talk about it's a Christian nation and whatnot, just ridiculous. Go ahead, DJ.
Now, so if you heard that newscast article, whatever, the reporter specifically mentioned Black Americans, African Americans, but here go Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, you know, the Latinos, brown people, you know what I mean? They suffer too. Oh, man, here we go, yo. Stop the cap, shorty.
Hey, anytime like I'm printing an article up or tweeting an article, man, it's so many on Newstoter that has that. And not only that, it'll have in the title Black people and Hispanics, and then when you read the article, it's about Black people, or it'll have just Black people in the title. Then we read the article, it's Black and Hispanic. Like, it can't never, and these are coming from Black-owned companies. Okay, these are coming from Black-owned websites, Black-owned news sites. It just can't have Black people in it. It's got to have Black and. Now, I bet you when you read the Hispanic magazines and stuff like that, it's not talking about brown and black, brown and black, brown and black. It's talking about brown and brown exclusively. So, yeah, you know, they constantly do this, man. It's annoying. It's really annoying. It's just another way of squeezing you out of the play as well, too. And Elizabeth Warren, if I'm not mistaken, of course, we knew Elizabeth Warren had no chance of being president. But wasn't Elizabeth Warren talk about that she was because I remember they called her Pocahontas, talk about that she was Native American as well too. She was one of them $5 Indians, right? Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah. Shout out to Trump. I was right.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say she's absolutely a $5 Indian. It made her. She was in I believe it was a bowling alley or somewhere. And she had a press conference. She was talking about, basically I lied. I was like, so you got all this money for all that you lied? Nah, come on now.
You're right, Sam. I mean, you're right, Ray. And they ain't even lock her up for that, and she admitted it. You're right. I remember that.
But how many generations of her family lied about it for her? Like, I mean, it probably go back 4-5 generations of them lying, talking about they was Indian and stuff, so they can go ahead and get that money and that land and stuff.
Yeah, because I remember, I do believe it was Brother Marcel that said this. Because how do you say it? Basically, we had some white people that was like, all right, if you really Indian, you need to take a DNA test, and they just fought against it. Like, oh, hell no, we ain't taking no damn DNA. So that's gonna blow the cover off their whole finesse.
And that's why Trump was calling them Pocahontas, because Trump was actually saying who the real Native Americans was in a video he did way back in like late 80s, early 90s. I'm gonna try to find it real quick though. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you gotta give them credit though. They scheme and plot for this money here and stuff, knowing damn well, you know, the damn Indian.
Yeah, because I remember Trump. Elizabeth Warren was saying, you know how these people are talking about only the government should have guns, and Trump talking about, a real Indian would know better.
He did say
He said that.
Wait, hold on. I'm about to find a video. Hold on. Pause.
He said that. Oh, yeah. You would think that a real Indian would know better based on the outcome of history.
And look, just to put the icing on the cake, Trump said, well, if these the real Native Americans, I mean, he said, oh, those are Native Americans. He said, they don't look Native to me. You know what I'm saying? He said something like that to like a group of white people. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all look white.
Down here in Florida one time, they had like this, I was somewhere, they was honoring the I think they had something downtown in one of the buildings, one of the state buildings, and they was honoring supposedly people from the Seminole tribe. And when I say like the queen that was supposed to have been like the queen or whatever, it was some kind of award they was giving her. When I say like this chick looked like Roseanne Arnold, I kid Roseanne Barr, I kid you not. I'm like, what in the world? Like, this girl ain't got a blood. Like, if y'all don't knock it off here, I mean, this was just ridiculous. Like, I mean, she had not one drop of Indian blood in her. But getting back to the student loan thing, like I say, I have a hard time believing, and it may pass. I don't know exactly the executive order or whatever, but I have a hard time. Like I said, the Republicans are already going to fight this thing tooth and nail. They're already talking about doing everything they can to not let it go through. So, the Democrats see that this could be something they feel like can get them over the 100-term elections and whatnot. So they're going to fight as much as they want. And the Democratic Party, the base, they want him to actually increase it. They wish that he would actually have pushed it, even ask for more money. But how that's going to happen, I just don't see that really happening. I think the 10,000, 20,000 tops is the most that they're going to be able to get. Professor, like, you wanted to say something.
They will challenge it and try to get it into the Supreme Court, but I think he's going to win it based off the higher education at 65. I want y'all to go out there, read the act. As a matter of fact, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to post it in the Jumbotron, and you can read it for yourself. But that act, which was passed by Congress in 1965, I think gives him the authority to be able to cancel any type of student loan debt. But you can read it for yourself. I'm going to post it.
Definitely go ahead and do that. I'm trying to see if we got any speakers that haven't said anything. Everybody pretty much done spoke tonight. We got any new speakers that want to say anything? Oh, go ahead, Ray.
Well, I'm not a new speaker, but someone needs to ask the question: how do we have all these other countries that they have a lot less than us, and they're able to put their people through college without breaking their backs? Like, what's really going on with that? Someone high up really needs to be asking that question.
You know what they always say, Ray, is that these countries are smaller countries. I think some of the ones you're talking about, like, their population isn't what the United States is, and so they're able to, like, the same thing they do with healthcare. When they talk about universal healthcare, these populations are much, much smaller than the United States, and they're able to afford this and that. And we couldn't just simply afford that. It would run us into ruins. It would run us into debt. All kind of nonsense. And here's my thing right here, what I understand. Like, I understand that you had universities, so you had buildings, you have to pay for lights, you have to pay for the upkeep, and you have to pay for teachers and stuff like that. But does it really cost that much money to actually teach somebody? Like, does it really cost $80,000-$90,000 to actually? I guess when you add everything, and I just find it hard to believe. Like, does it really cost $80,000-$90,000 to really teach somebody, to teach them math, to teach them language arts, to teach them history, whatever major? Does it really, for the actual book that they're gonna get? When you're in college, you go to class 2-3 times a week. Does it really cost that much money? Go ahead, Ray.
I was just gonna say they already running. Biden's only been in office, I think, 18 months or so, maybe a little longer. They already run us into debt. He spent 1.9 trillion on the American Rescue Plan. They spent another 1.2 trillion on the infrastructure bill. 1.5 billion on that. The ARPA expansion, the CHIPS bill, that was 280 billion. The Inflation Reduction Act, that was 433 billion. And the COVID, that's not even COVID. So they're spending money like crazy. So they can do it. They don't want to.
Oh yeah, they gave how many times they gave Ukraine some money? I know they gave them like 4-5 billion one time, then came back and gave them some more. Ukraine over there telling them about they still need more money, so the U.S. gonna pour more money into them and whatnot. Like, it's like Ukraine can get what they want to get right now. Whatever they want, they can get. Go ahead, bro.
Now, I was just gonna say, man, just like they tell us, at what point is Ukraine gonna pull themselves up by their own bootstraps? I mean, come on, man.
And I doubt you even have this thing is gonna be a stalemate. I think eventually Russia's gonna get tired and leave or whatever. Ukraine's gonna be able to hold them off with the help of U.S. aid, with the help of aid from Western Europe and whatnot. They're gonna be able to hold them off. Russia's gonna probably leave. We're gonna have a bunch of Ukrainians. We already got a bunch of them coming over here. We're gonna have a bunch more of them come over here. They're gonna start giving them resources and tangibles and this and that, and talk about, they were a downtrodden. And I don't want. I mean, war is a horrible thing. You got people being blown apart. You got people being killed, displaced from their families. So, the only thing is that you have war going on all over the world. They're not taking them people from that when you had the Hitsu and all of them over there in Africa, they was fighting and they had these long civil wars and stuff like that. They wasn't just taking those African immigrants and bringing them over here. You know, if they in the Middle East, normally they're not just taking them and bringing them over here. So you have war on every continent of this earth with the exception of Antarctica, and they're just not always taking people and bringing them here because these people are white people. Like, oh, they're not just like any other people. Like, what do you mean they're not like any other people? Because they got blonde hair and blue eyes? Like, man, come on, please stop. Brother McCool, I see you had your hand up.
No, I just wanted to agree with you. Yeah, you know, this is just a simple example of white supremacy looking out for their brothers and their cousins. You know what I'm saying? This is why Ukraine can keep coming up to the table talking and requesting billions and billions at a time.
Oh yeah. About that, Ray, go ahead. You got your hand up, so you the co-host, so you know you can go ahead and.
Nah, man, I want to be respectful to everybody in the room. Wait my turn, just like everybody else. But we need to be asking these questions, like, why isn't it why is it when we need money, we got to do 40-year studies, and there's got to be a vote and a plebiscite and all this other mess, but then they can just walk us to the table with their hand out, get billions, and walk away from us. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, they didn't have to have no study or anything when they gave them Asians that money, like during the pandemic or whatnot. And not only that, it was funny how you had, like, I mean, it was, you just, everybody was able to join in unison. There was no, well, the House is against this, the Senate is against this, the Democrats is against this, Republic. Oh no, give them the money. When it's black people, well, that might piss off some people. That might not sit well with everybody. How are Hispanics going to feel about this? How are Asians going to feel? I don't know. You talk about causing such strife in the country. You're playing a divide here. My family wasn't, they didn't even come to Ellis Island until 1905. Okay. They came over here with just a shirt on their back. So it's always some nonsense, bro. You got it, Ray.
No, sorry. So, and yeah, like you were saying, and they wouldn't even have half the stuff that they have if it wasn't for us, because all of that stuff, it benefits off of the Civil Rights Act. It was in 1964, 1965. But anytime we want to do something like, hey, let us do something for us. We've done things to help everybody else. We help the Asians get over here. We help some of our African brothers get over here that were supposed to be reinforcements for us. And they came over here and started calling us Akadas and Jareers and all these other derogatory terms. We doing all this stuff to help everybody, but it seems like nobody wants to help us. And it's sad. We really have no friends. Besides, like Dr. John Henry Clark said, if you want a friend, look in the damn mirror.
Truthfully, for everything we gave to this country, when we talk about student loan, debt, and everything else, truthfully, black people should be going to school for free. Bruh, we should have we should be tax free. We shouldn't have to pay taxes. I mean, if you just want to get down to the nitty gritty of things, like, we should go to school for free. We shouldn't even be taxed. We should be having our own places, our own land, and everything else, our own nation, like the Indians and whatnot. So a lot of stuff that these people cry and complain about, and like the world would end if we should already be getting, man. We should already have this stuff.
No, you was not lying. I mean, you got Jewish people have stuff like what's it called, the JFLA, where you can even go on their site, man. They say that they approve 99% of all Jewish. You know what I mean? If you're Jewish, they're gonna approve your shit, no interest. You know what I'm saying? They have all types of funding for Jewish people to be able to, get funding. If you're a descendant of anybody from the Holocaust, all of this shit. You know what I mean? But when it comes to us in our situation, people turn a blind eye. Like, you know what I mean? When our situation, not to create like a pain Olympics type of situation, you know what I mean? But our situation was 10 times worse than the Holocaust. Like, I'm sure that if all black people and all Jewish people come together, like I'm sure that we can agree that I would take the Holocaust happening to our, to our people over 400 years of oppression and slavery. You know what I'm saying? Any day. Because, I mean, just the amount of damage that these motherfuckers have caused, us in pain and just they've made us get so far behind it on just the total global economy. You know what I'm saying? Just the total global scale. Like we were just so far behind that it's almost impossible to catch back up. It's just so criminal what they've done, and they just walk around every single day like they not doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they not still taking part into pretty much our destruction. And to comment on what you said, Newstoter, about how people just so scared. You know what I mean? So scared they got no warrior, no fight. I'm 25 years old, and I'm at the point where I'm like, dude, I'll risk my life to try to change this situation in any way I possibly can. How can people be 40 plus years old? You know what I'm saying? Older than me, where you probably got, you know what I mean, most people live to like 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? So if you're 40, you got about 20 years left. And you still living scared. You know, I'm scared to like, well, who am I gonna, upset? Well, like, goddamn. At some point, you got to stand up and fight. You know what I'm saying? Or you might as well throw in the towel and just say that you a slave, or just disassociate from black people that actually want to fight. You know what I mean? They need to be a real like cultural separation movement from cowards in our group, because there's a lot of cowards and you can hear it in their voice. And some of them are cowards in different type of ways. They become agents of chaos. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to put in the work to change. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are just straight cowards. But a lot of people just express that emotion in different ways. But I'll end there.
Well, you got to remember too, man, and I agree with everything you say. The one thing I do disagree with is that it ain't quite 60-some years of age. Like I think the average life expectancy like in the late 70s, even for black men. So thank goodness it ain't 60-some years of age, because we'll be checking out pretty quick here. But I agree with everything you say, man. The thing you got to remember too is that you have to remember the certain level of being conditioned. Like, especially when we talk about these older generations, like they were conditioned just to survive. Like, living is one thing, but they conditioned just to survive. And when you condition just to survive, you teach your kids how to survive. You know, and it's just something that for generations have been taught to black people that hey, we got to find a way to survive. And to find a way to survive was not to piss white people off, like not to upset the apple cart. You go ahead, you went along to get along. I mean, so you have to kind of remember that, like when you're talking about some of these older black people and stuff like that, that's their mindset. At times I look at them, I say, and I'm just like, man, what in the world are you talking about here? But then you got to just remember, like, hey, if their parents brought them up like that, and their parents brought them up like that, and their parents brought them up like that, it's just ingrained in you, man. So it's getting to the point now that you and I'm a generation above you, so like we kind of like, hey man, like I like straight out, like yo, I don't even want to hear all of the stuff that you talking about, man. And I'm not gonna shoot you shining. I'm not gonna cut a jig. I'm not, I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff, man. Like straight up. But then I got to kind of respect the ones that did laid away, because for them just to be able, it felt it was a win just to be able to sit at the table with a white person in them was an accomplishment. That was something big for them. So in a way, we look at it and we criticize it. And you say, man, I don't understand what they're talking about here, because even when you start hearing them talk about politics, I mean, like your parents, they baby boomers and stuff like that. You like, let's not, I have to tell them, like, let's not even talk about politics. Like, you don't want to be disrespectful, man, but you like, I can't do this here. What you talking about just don't make any sense. Like, you sitting up here talking about voting against your best interest, and then when you tell them that, it's like they look at you like you some kind of ingrate, that you're a troublemaker almost. Like you don't. And the first thing they tell you, like, look how far we come, and this and that, we got it much better. And when you start hearing that kind of stuff, then like the discussion's already over with. It's over with before we even do that, because we came this far and this and that, but hell, we should be a lot further along. Okay, and let's not stop acting like the reason to, like, well, we make more money than we used to make it. We do this, and I'm like, yeah, but the country's progressed, so we just by being in the country progress as well. Like, yeah, we make more money because everybody else in the country makes more money. So when you hear this kind of stuff, man, like I say, trust me, you're a generation behind me. but try to be the ones like directly behind the baby boomers. And you hearing this stuff here, you just like, oh, Lordy. You're right. Let's not talk about politics, and let's not talk about religion if we can help it. I know I don't know who it might have been. Brother McCoo or Ray. One of y'all was next, but
go ahead, Brother McCoo.
Yeah, I just want to say, to my brother Sam, yeah, he definitely under me. I got a little bit more than 20, I hope. but I definitely feel you when, and even you're saying, those ones that were raised before us and the baby boomers, and how, how they accepted and basically fucking their enemy instead of separating from them, and building their own nation. That's the craziest thing to me. I can remember sitting in elementary school thinking to myself after watching the first Martin Luther King video that they showed us, of them spraying them in 85 when I was in elementary school. I'm looking at this white student sitting next to me like, why in the fuck am I in the classroom with this white motherfucker and he just sprayed my grandmother? You know what I'm saying? So I could never really understand like why we were even still interacting with him, why we were even integrating with him. I didn't even understand that at a young age in elementary school. So you as a young person, 25-year-old, saying, I could feel your frustration, brother, because my grandmother, God rest her, I used to have these talks with my grandmother, and she used to be just like Newstoter just described, some of them elders, like, well, we getting paid better now when we doing better. And I'm looking around like, but I got fucking holes in my shoes. How the fuck are we living better? Like, if I got holes in my shoes and my shit fucked up, what was, if this is better, I hate to see what it looked like when y'all was young. Like, so, man, I can't stand that. I always tell my children, nah, I want y'all to live better than this. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't better. You know what I'm saying? It just looked better from the outside, but that shit ain't better once you get in the inside of it and then start looking at the outside. Yeah, it ain't better.
I believe his brother is better, Brother McCool, but it's only better by a smidgen. Like it's better compared to what, like you say, because we growing up, you know what I'm saying. When you say 85, you took me back, and that's really we showing our age. Because goddamn, I was like, what? I was a younger than 85, my boy. Like, ooh, like you talking about elementary, like barely in elementary school, but we didn't get hit by water hoses and stuff like that, like our parents' generation did, and we didn't have to worry about drinking from a color fountain, water fountain, and stuff like that. So, in terms of socially being accepted into society, when we grew up, we go in the store, like nobody was gonna say, y'all colors can't come in here, like you know what I'm saying? It was. We actually had to learn. We actually had to be taught that, hey, your parents let you know that you were black and whatnot, but you know what I'm saying? Growing up, especially if you grew up in an all-black neighborhood, when you're real little, you think that the world is mostly black until you start like, okay, but no, it ain't mostly black. So it did. Our lives are better than our parents and our grandparents for the simple fact is that we have a few more options than they have, but we should have a hell of a lot more. And the fact that that we do have a few options, because it's like, well, we just can't sit here and accept this. Like I said, when we're talking about the schools and stuff, that's why we did the thing about the HBCUs. We did about should the HBCUs be Black American only, or what percentage of it, or this and that, because that's important. Our legacy in terms of what we have in this country and whatnot. And we talking about education. We talking about the student loan impact. Well, what about the funding for the HBCUs? Why are the HBCUs so underfunded compared to all of these white universities and stuff like that? And not only are they underfunded, but now you got white kids that's going in there, and some of these universities making up a quarter of the population. When you add the white kids, and then you add up the the kids from the diaspora and whatnot. Okay, Black Americans in some of these universities probably make up 60% of the population. You know, so it was not built for that. And I don't have a problem with anybody coming to get an education and this and that. But at the same time, if white folks are going to make up 25% of the population at these HBCUs and at the University of Miami and Florida State and Florida here in Florida where I'm at, should black people make up 25% of the population at those schools? Because if they did, you best believe all hell gonna break loose. They're gonna talk about these quotas. They're gonna talk about that you taking students who aren't the best applicants and this and that. See, whenever it comes to black people, like it's always, if you get a position or something like that, you're never the best. Like you're always given something, you know. So this is what we got to look at. I'm willing, if you want to do the HBCUs like that, and you want to say, okay, well, we're going to bring in 25%, and we're going to do this, or we're going to bring in 10, 15%. Okay, well then at these mega white universities, Ivy Leagues as well too. I want this, and I want the Princetons and the Yales and all that. Then to make things fair, how about we make, since the population of America is 13, 14% black, we'll let these Ivy League schools, I want their population to represent what the American population is with black people. I want Harvard to have 13% blacks as their students. I want Yale, and I want all the rest of them, Brown and all the rest of these major universities like that. When you have something like that happen, then all hell gonna break loose. And when the first groups that start running their mouth will be the Asians, as they show, by filing their little lawsuits with the Supreme Court and talk about how they're being discriminated against because they're such good students and how black people are this and that and yada, yada, yada. And then you got these Negroes sitting up there talking about the minority coalition. Ray, you got it.
No, DJ had his hand out first.
Oh, DJ, you got it.
Piece of time over here. Oh, dang boy. You know, I just checked the Jumbotron, y'all. Getting my snack on.
Well, if I can, I'm gonna just jump in real quick. Like you said, you know, obviously we being released from bondage, but are we really doing that? Back then, we had our own businesses and things like that. And I was looking at, I believe it was Dr. Fresh's, he was either Nellie Fuller or Dr. Welsing, her book about the 10 areas of people activity, you know, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics. I'm sorry?
I said, brother, it was 9 arts. And it was,
is it 9? Oh, I'm sorry. Economics, education, entertainment, law, labor, politics, religion, sex, war, and health. That's 10. Unless I'm miscounting. But either way, like just looking at those, I mean, in all those areas, we're really not running anything in any of them. Even in entertainment, yes, we have black people making money, but look who owns all the teams. If you look at every NFL team, not one owner is black, not one. I mean, we have to really, I speak for myself, I really pay attention to things like that. Because we need to put ourselves in better positions to really people who are really going to survive for the next 30, 40, 50 years. And another thing, like you were saying, like our generation, I speak for myself, we ain't going to take that crap that our grandparents went through. We just aren't. I speak for myself. I just don't have it in me to just cower to somebody, you know, just because you're white or Japanese or whatever. That just isn't going to happen with me. I can only speak for me, and I'm definitely not going. I got 3 babies. I'm not raising any of them like that.
Oh yeah, I agree with you definitely 100% on that. I agree with you what you said about the professional leagues and stuff like that as well too. So we're in agreement. I think everybody pretty much in here is in agreement and whatnot. I'm gonna go ahead and see if anybody else may want to go ahead. We're not gonna keep you long. Been a couple hours, so you know we like to try to wrap it up in a couple hours. We have once again another good Twitter space going on. Definitely, I know it wasn't the drama it was yesterday. I know y'all happy about that. So definitely. I know a bunch of y'all was in here. I got a bunch of like DMs. Everybody like, what in the hell going on here? Like, people ask me, you all right? Yeah, like, I'm good, y'all. I appreciate everybody who reached out and whatnot. Like, and thank you for those who did come to the Twitter space. This is more like in the line of how we do stuff here. Even though me and DJ said we just gonna go ahead and let one person up at a time or whatever, but everybody in here, we pretty much know. So we like, hey. You know, and in all our other Twitter spaces too, we never had that. We have multiple people up as speakers, and we never had an incident unless T.S. Giselle is up in here. So Definitely thank y'all, Ray. I see you got your head back up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Make sure you don't let. If anyone knows, I know Queen Cotton. She personally knows me. I don't like really talking down on people, but that bitch is two-faced as she can come. She comes in here, acting all cordial and stuff, and then she runs back to someone else's space. And DJ can tell you because I actually, normally all of y'all know I get up early, but last night I couldn't sleep for whatever reason, so I went to another space. And I was just listening. And this, calling us all type of, just motherfuckers and y'all, Newstoter ain't shit and DJ ain't shit. Ray, you a bitch nigga. And I'm like, the fuck did I do to you, your bad water buffalo gold mouth from fucking life with a concussion?
Linebacker for the 49ers, linebacker.
Man, no, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna be nice. That's the nicest I'm gonna be. But yeah, that was some bullshit, bro. Because like I said, that space, the whole energy was off in that space because of that one person that was, allegedly set over by Sir Major. That one woman that came over, that sassy motherfucker, came over and started drama from day one. Why you gotta upload this to YouTube? Why you gotta do this? Why you gotta do that? I'm like, why are you pocket watching this man? What's really going on?
Newstoter, when I saw her, man, when I was listening to that woman, I said, man, this woman coming in here to start some drama. Because she started it right from the moment you opened the thing up. And I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. And I went against my gut feeling just to go ahead and kick her out, which was a mistake right there. But then, like I said, it wasn't just her, too. It was your boy, Sir Major, as well, too. Like, he was in on it. So, and here's the thing. Like, right after, he started that space right up, trying to get me to come up in the space or whatever. But here's my thing. We had the space last night. It wasn't titled anything. It was titled about divisiveness, and it was titled about, agents and how to get rid of that and how we can get Black empowerment back on the path. So, they took it sideways or whatever. But here's my thing. He was invited into space. I just tried to go ahead and he was just trying to dominate it. So I had to put him a listener because he kept overriding people, kept getting there, kept causing drama and whatnot. He didn't want to be in here. He wanted to try to dominate the conversation. So he went to his space. He created his space afterwards. He name dropped Newstoter. His space still didn't have anywhere near the amount of people in it, even though he went 3 hours long. I think this space had something like 3,000 people since then have seen it. His space had 800 or something. So, all this other stuff, you trying to get me to come in there, but nah, bro, you was in this space, but you couldn't hack it. So, there is no beef or whatever. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. I wouldn't let everybody get up here and have a chance to speak, and because they did not want to have that, all hell broke loose. So, you got it, Ray.
Now it said something interesting when I was in that space too, and I'm not exactly sure who said it, so I'm not gonna try to name drop anyone because I don't know. But they mentioned that like how you're always saying how the spaces are really janky, just out of the blue they'll be janky for no reason.
Yeah.
So they said that these people are actually doing like underhanded shit. Like they'll go report your space and saying you're like promoting pedophilia and child porn and stuff like that. And then obviously when you report that, it has to go to whoever runs Twitter, and they look at it and they kind of slow the space down, try to figure out what the fuck is going on. So that seriously might be what really might be going on. They might be doing some underhanded shit.
That's dangerous if people saying stupid stuff like that as well, too. That is really, for one, let's be for real. A space is a space, man. Okay, it's not like we getting paid off of the views here, even if you have a big space. So all you doing is having a space. I like having big spaces. I like having spaces this size here, too, as long as people are interacting or whatever. So to me, that don't even make any sense. DJ, you got your hand up.
Yeah, check the Jumbotron far left side. That's for you right there, TS.
Really, man. Like I said, we tried last night to try to end all of that drama and whatnot, and I don't even really want to rehash it or whatever, because like I say, it would have been a decent space, but people didn't want it to be a decent space. People wanted drama, they wanted confusion and whatnot. We normally don't even have all that here. We pretty much have a straightforward space. People come in here to get the information and enjoy it. We got a bunch of people that come in this space that never even speak. They just like to come in and sit back and chill and relax. So we not even trying to hear all that crazy stuff or whatever, man. So I wasn't trying to hear it. Nobody was trying to hear it. The shit pissed me and my co-host off last night. and Ray was a co-host too. Like everybody was getting pissed off, as well as the actual people that was in the space. People that normally come here, they was getting pissed off. Like, well, like this ain't even what we come to expect in your space. So we like I say, we not even trying to hear all that nonsense. I mean, if people want confusion and chaos, they can go someplace else. We trying to drop information and have a decent discussion or whatever. So that's what it is. I mean, people talking about content and this and that. I said, man, have you lost your mind? You talk about the largest curator of Black news today in America. We don't have to steal content from any damn person. I go right on the site and find a topic to go ahead and discuss any night of the week. You can go take a walk with that. Yeah, DJ.
Yeah, so the chick Sassy kept, for those that didn't hear, was saying to Newstoter that, yo, why you gotta upload the space to YouTube? Well, we all doing content. Nobody tell Tariq Nasheed or Jason Black, anybody else, they shouldn't unload family issues or whatever to any type of other platform. So what's the argument? And then you're offering $20 not to do it. You ain't even pay the whole $20 to Newstoter. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you're thinking that YouTube is really earning us Black content creators money, you're sadly mistaken, because YouTube pays 0.00019 cent on a penny. That ain't no goddamn money. You know what I'm saying? I make more than that in one day selling CDs than versus waiting for folks to come up and do some streaming. Come on now.
I just opened my page, the page not too long ago. It's not even monetized, so they can. I mean, like I said, they can all go to hell as far as I'm concerned. I mean, every last one of them. I don't give a damn. You sitting up in here sending people taking snapshots and whatnot of rooms and whatnot, and sitting up here. First, you got to be a complete lame to sit up here and do this for somebody else. If they not man enough to go in the room themselves and take the damn snapshot, then the hell with it. But you gonna sit up here and volunteer and take snapshots and you something like some kind of CIA operative. You know, man, I don't even get down like that. I'm an advocate, man, and we don't even, the men in here don't even do that kind of nonsense. Like, so really, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I shouldn't even brought it up. But like I say, I'm just glad that we got back to the normal flow of things, which we will be doing. So we've had Secure the Tribe in here. Never had an issue with them up in here like that. But then when we got other people coming up here, had Freedman up in here, never had an issue with them up in here. So we know what the issue was. Ray, you got it.
No, I was just gonna say, and I know you're trying to get off, so I'm gonna be very brief. I was just gonna say I believe you handled it very well, considering the circumstances, because it seemed like maybe every 20 seconds you were having to mute someone. Like that's just what it was. Like you kept saying, like, hey, can we, just be quiet? We'll speak one at a time. That way the people that are talking can get their points off, and then, we'll go to some more people. So, not one person is just like dominating the space. And then it's like it wasn't right, to other people to go and make other spaces. You a bitch and you a this and you that. It's like, come on, man. Like, why didn't you just like it's a space? You could have just said that here. You didn't have to like make another space and say that. And just little stupid stuff like that. We all grown here. Like I said, we all trying to. Well, I speak for myself, and I know everyone in here just trying to build and like try to come up with ideas on how to help our people. Like, come on, man. We ain't trying to be no agents of chaos and none of that mess, man. Let's get to work, everybody.
I just want to say, Newstoter, just to promote you and DJ and Ray, man, these are three brothers here. When I go in their spaces, it's all about information, and it's all about business, and it's all about love, man. And that's why I love going up in their space. And then Sister Angela, reparationist, that's pretty much all I go. I go into those spaces, people. So these are the people that I promote. Anybody else, unfortunately, I just can't stand behind. I can't stand behind them. But I can stand behind the four people that I just named.
And we be glad to have you up in here too, brother. Like, we glad to have all of the usuals up here. Definitely, like I said, we got a solid group of people up in here, so we definitely enjoy having everybody up in here that comes up in here on the regular. A lot of our people, even if they miss it, they still say, I'm going to catch that recording. So that's why we go ahead and record it too, so because everybody can't make every space. We understand that. Everybody has a life, that's just how it is. So, but when you get a chance, and maybe you can't catch it that next day, but it's there, so you can catch it throughout the week or whatever, whenever you get a chance. You're not doing anything, you driving or whatever, you just want to put it on, hey, you can catch it or whatever. We try to have a little space or something for everybody. So, that's what we try to do. I'm gonna go ahead, DJ, and let you and Ray go ahead and get a final word, and we'll go ahead and we'll close it out.
Hey, you already know we agree to agree, but get that information up in the Jumbotron. You already know. One love, reparations, y'all. It was good, Marcel. Matter of fact, support Marcel. Hit the brother Cash App. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. You know what I mean? He a teacher too, by the way.
Marcel was just chilling, so I just letting him chill. Yeah. I know he'll come up and whatnot and speak, but like I said, people just want to chill, man. I understand that. I go up in spaces. A lot of times I don't say nothing. I just sit back and just relax and just chill and hit a conversation or whatever. So peace to you too, Marcel. Ray, you got anything you want to add? Anything before we close it out?
Nothing, man. Like I said, I'm glad. Even you guys are sharing your platform with me because, like I said, I don't co-host that much. So I appreciate y'all sharing the space. I've always tried to be a brother of integrity. Even Queen Kai can tell you that because she came up with me. I've always tried to be a man of integrity, man. So I really appreciate y'all sharing your space, man, dropping all this knowledge, doing something for our people, man, just instead of just sitting back complaining.
Absolutely. And you and DJ, of course, y'all know we started from the beginning, so you know how it is or whatever, how small the spaces were, and how just getting up here and just, you know what I'm saying? This wasn't even my forte, just sitting up here. I just like to be behind the scene and actually do the thing or whatever and just curate. But hey, you got to come out your comfort zone sometimes too. So definitely enjoy having everybody up in here and whatnot. And once again, we will be back. Do a Space Sunday. Sometimes, I just get that feeling. I'm like, man, we gotta do a Space Sunday. I'm not gonna say we're gonna do one Sunday, so I'm gonna just kick the regular time of Monday through Thursday when we'll be back doing our regular 8 p.m. That's when we got our slot, 8 p.m. So we let everybody know, catch us 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. We're gonna have some good topics and stuff like that. As always, check out the website, y'all. I need everybody in here to go visit newstoter.com daily. I need to go ahead and get those. We need to at least start getting a couple hundred people just from Twitter a day visiting newstoter.com. Help us build up the platform. Help it start getting more and more traffic there. So visit newstoter.com. If y'all ain't got nothing to do right after you leave the actual Twitter space, go to newstoter.com. Go on there for about 30 seconds. Look around. Oh, okay, I'm gone. I'm going back to Twitter. So thank everybody again.
Before you close, I just wanted to ask this really quick. So maybe it might just be my phone, but when I go to your, to newstoter.com, I try to actually read the article. For whatever reason, it never lets me.
You must have like a pop-up blocker on.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Let me handle that.
Yeah, so just go ahead and that's anybody that's on there. If you click the read more article and it won't read more, that means that you have a pop-up blocker on. So just disable that, and then you'll be able to read the articles on there. So that's one thing. Depending on what system you're on, what phone you're on, or what browser you're on, you click it sometimes. That means that your pop-up block is stopping to redirect to the other website. So yeah, just make sure you go ahead and disable that, and you can read the entirety of the article. So definitely.
Hey, real quick, I'm about to start a tech space. So if y'all want to come over and learn some, follow me.
Yeah, definitely make sure y'all go check out DJ. Come up in the spot for a little bit if you got nothing else to do. Definitely go over there. Go ahead and I'm gonna come through myself as well too. So definitely do that. Make sure you, like I said, we'll be back Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna have some more good conversations, in the loop. So definitely check us out. If you can support us on Cash App, it's $Newstoter. It is $Newstoter. And until either Sunday or Monday, we'll catch you guys then. But check us out tomorrow because we're going to be tweeting out a lot of news as well, too. So make sure y'all get those retweets and those comments ready. Make sure you definitely like it and whatnot. Every post that we send out there, because we're going to be sending out 25, probably anywhere from 20 to 30 posts tomorrow. So the news is going to be coming. It's going to be coming in bunches. So we'll see you guys then.